to coast.
Demerara and Essequibo 99.1 FM.
Burby's 99.5 FM. Kaieteur Radio. Kaieteur Radio, keeping you informed.
Demerara and Essequibo 99.1 FM.
Burby's 99.5 FM. Kaieteur Radio.
The COVID-19 vaccine gives us hope for a healthier tomorrow. Have you received your shot yet? The Regional Health Services in Region 2 invite you to get vaxxed and get a chance to receive a COVAX hamper. A what? A COVAX hamper. When vaccinated, you will receive a coupon, and drawings will be done weekly at the Suddy Health Center and broadcast live on the Regional Health Services Facebook page on Sundays. Get vaccinated and get a chance to be one of 4 lucky winners of a COVAX hamper. Pomeroon Supernam, fighting COVID-19 for a safer region and safer Guyana.
This is the news on top of the hour.
Live from our studio in Georgetown.
Kaieteur Radio, 99.1 FM.
Good evening and welcome to this evening's newscast on the Kaieteur Radio. Kevin Smith here. Without further ado, let's get to the news in detail. In the petroleum industry, there are several fiscal measures used by governments to attract investors to explore for oil in their backyard. But in selecting the most suitable measures, countries ought to take into account the local factors and conditions subject to one overriding condition. That is, they can only be granted if permitted by the tax and other laws of the country. It is on this premise that Chartered Accountant and Attorney at Law Christopher Ram explained that Guyana made a colossal blunder when it included in the Stabroek Block Petroleum Agreement a measure called the Pay on Behalf system. According to Ram, such a system, the government pays the income taxes of ExxonMobil and its partners, Hess and Sinnock. The government, he explained, opted to pay these taxes out of its take of the oil revenues received on an annual basis. Ram found that the government has to find some $5.3 billion to pay the tax liability of the two partners alone for 2020. Both entities, he noted, were able to walk away as a result with a pre-tax profit totaling $16.1 billion. In other news, it seemed as if the acting commissioner of police, Nigel Hoppy, got upset yesterday over the media's question about an alleged disappearance of reward money totaling $3 million. This assumption came after Hoppy replied to the question posed by journalist Travis Chase in the Joint Services Press Team WhatsApp group. Chase had posed his question directly to the Director and Deputy Director of the Corporate Communications Unit of the Guyana Police Force, Mark Ramotar, and Stan Gavaya, respectively. Now, the $3 million reward that Chase was referring to was relevant information on the murder case of cousins Joel and Isaiah Henry. Hoppy, who is also a member of the WhatsApp group, responded, and I quote, "Do not do any response." Hoppy deleted the message immediately after, but not before we took a screenshot of the reply. It is assumed that Hoppy did not know he was replying in the media group and might have thought that he was responding directly to Ramotar or Gavaya. His response, however, was not taken lightly and was criticized in the group by other journalists, including the president of the Guyana Press Association, Nazima Ragobir. And now let's tell you, the Guyana Geology and Mines Commission reported that it has been re-evaluating its operations, especially as it relates to the communication with the public. It stated that there was a review of standard operating procedures to improve standardization and equivalence of response across the mining sector. The Commission also reported adopting reporting systems using information technology solutions to improve supervision, foster accountability, and strategically deploy resources. On the matter of occupational safety and health, the agency has made more use of social media to propagate its education and awareness programs on mining safety. This was done in concert with the mining school. The GGMC said that the safety of its workers as they operate in the field is a top priority. And now let's tell you, a Canadian oil exploration company operating in the Kanji block, Echo Atlantic, has had its application approved to issue more shares in the company to a private equity partner in order to raise several $1 million to pursue another well in the Kanji block. The news comes just days after announcing that its Jabilo 1 well was unsuccessful and as such had to be abandoned or capped. Gail Halsman, co-founder and CEO of Echo Atlantic, noted that the move will provide Echo with additional funds for the JHI transaction and enables the second well on the Kanji block, Support 1, and preserves enough cash for the drilling in the Oranduk block. And moving on, the Guyana Police Force has invited suppliers to bid for the supply of long-range drones in order to improve its surveillance capabilities. This is in addition to the purchase of traffic equipment, according to an advertisement over the weekend by the Ministry of Home Affairs. According to the ministry, the bid documents for that and other purchases can be obtained at the Finance Department of the ministry. The bids, according to the advertisement, must be submitted no later than tomorrow, July 13th, to the chairman of the National Procurement and Tender Administration Board. It was noted that any bids exceeding $3 million must be accompanied with the relevant bid security documents. The administration's most recent purchase of drones for the security services had attracted controversy when it was discovered that the purchase had not only been made from a startup company, but was overpriced. And now let's tell you, the rollout of the second dose of the Russian Sputnik V vaccines will commence tomorrow. This was announced by the Minister of Health, Dr. Frank Antony. After weeks of the delay in the shipment of the batch of second dose, the minister stated that the doses have arrived in the country. Even though he did not state how many doses have arrived, Dr. Antony noted that by next week, another batch is slated to arrive in the country. Since the duration to get administered the second dose of this vaccine is 4 to 12 weeks, persons who receive their first dose of the Sputnik V vaccine back in April will be given a first preference, the minister said. And to wrap things up for this evening, let's tell you 2 children are now dead after drowning on Sunday evening, just a few hours apart at different locations. The first incident took place at the Hope Seawalls along the east coast of Demerara between 16 hours and 16 hours 30. A police report stated that 10-year-old Anand Mangru, along with his 13-year-old brother Ajay and 8-year-old cousin Brian, were at the Hope Seawall swimming when a wave pushed the lad towards the Hope Coker Channel. The second incident, according to a police report, occurred at Pottsville, Kwakwani, along the Berbice River. Amanda Wills, the mother of the 18-year-old Orinda August, had left the child at home in the company of her other 2 children, 7-year-old Terrell Williams and 15-year-old Ranella Couchman, to attend a funeral. Williams had discovered August lying head down in a bucket of water. No marks of violence were seen on the exposed part of the body. According to police, foul play was not suspected. And with that, we've come to the end of this evening's newscast. I'm Kevin Smith. Thank you for listening. Coming up at exactly 19 hours 20 is the Glenn Lal Show. Tell it as it is.
Kaieteur Radio.
Covering Guyana from coast to coast.
Demerara and Essequibo 99.1